Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Jones, and this is Dr. Stephen Pearlstein. You know, Dr. Pearlstein, we just addressed the issue of chiropractors losing the term physician and physician status here in New Mexico from a ruling, and that was a concern. In this climate of healthcare change, we definitely wanted to make sure that was preserved. Well, how did the first bill start incorporating languages that included things like controlled substances, dangerous drugs? We have a list of nutraceuticals and techniques that actually go beyond that whole idea of preserving the term physicians. How did that come about, and why did that come about?
Well, that's a good question. It looked like we were creating a bill that required a little substance beyond getting into the Pharmacy Acts. Getting into the Pharmacy Acts allowed us the opportunity to take a look at what chiropractors could be doing that would be of benefit to their patients. We looked to the east. Oklahoma,
right?
Yeah, is a state that has been over the last 20-some-odd years using nutraceuticals to some extent as injectable procedures without any adverse effects. And we started seeing that this, although not chiropractic per se, these were procedures that had tremendous value for our patients. And we decided to put some of these substances into our bill and to include some of these substances that were of an injectable format. And that we would create a formulary that would have full approval by the State Board of Chiropractic Examiners. Now, during the session, we came up against a legislator who was a medical doctor who wanted to amend our bill, and because we had good relations with the medical board, the medical society, etc., we decided to go along with it. And the amendment was that whatever formulary was going to be created, he wanted the formulary to be approved not only by the chiropractic board, but by the medical board and the pharmacy board.
And just so we understand this straight, we're at this point in time talking about injectable vitamins and minerals and nutrients. There was no other substances that was being sought after by our community at that point in time. Yet the medical board still wanted to have direct approval of this.
Exactly. We felt that we could work with them, and so essentially what happened was a formulary task force committee was created, and we started down a somewhat long road in meeting with that committee.
So the first bill had the restoration of physician as a title in chiropractic. We had the ability to be called primary care physicians. We were now having to develop a formulary of natural substances to take advantages of evolving technologies in the healthcare field. And we were doing it in cooperation with the medical community. And that's basically what was accomplished with the first bill.
Yes, the bill was signed into law by Governor Richardson at the time, and it was a tremendous success. We couldn't really well, we actually could use certain substances because they were actually written into the bill. They were part of the statute. So there were a list of 6 substances. If I remember them correctly, they were Serapin, an anesthetic, Procaine, an anesthetic, sterile water, saline, vapocoolants, and epinephrine. So as far as injectable procedures, yes, Procaine and Serapin are anesthetics that lend well to pain management. And
trigger point work,
chronic
myofascial pain syndromes, when we are unable to adjust certain articulations.
One other thing, I must interject because we didn't mention that there's an educational component in this bill.
That's right, a big one.
That's a big. In the bill, there is an educational requirement. So a chiropractor, I believe they have to be in practice for 3 years. And then they can take this additional training, over 90 hours of additional coursework in physiology, anatomy, in pharmacology and toxicology, pharmacognosy, and after that, then they have to take a certification exam by a credentialing agency, and after that, they become advanced practice certified.
And along the way, it was actually, it was greater than 120 hours. We had a minimum, but it was great. It actually exceeded 120. There was examinations along the way. I remember every weekend we had examinations. At the end of topics or examinations, and they weren't hokey examinations. They were examinations that were audited and proctored by chiropractic universities and colleges.
Yeah, so this was quite a legitimate program, and the training was excellent. Sponsored by, one part of it was sponsored by Texas Chiropractic College, I believe.
Correct.
And the other by National University.
Right.
Taught by a PhD in pharmacology.
Right. There was, our whole community was part of this. The colleges, the practitioners, the legislators in this state. There's a need for primary care in New Mexico. And so, on to the formularies.
Yes.